Good morning. Welcome back to Crochet with Lulu. It's been a while since I've done a tutorial, so I wanted to hop on here real quick and get us started on a Red Heart Super Saver 236 yards. Isn't that gorgeous? It is in the colorway Mistletoe. It's a medium 4 weight, and it is 100% acrylic. It can be machine wash and dry. So yeah, let's get started. I wanted to do a Christmas hat. I have thought about it for a while, and I thought this is the perfect time. So I'm gonna get started. I may have to do this in 2 parts, so we'll see. So the big thing is finding the end that I just laid down here. And I am using my trusty 4.5 millimeter $1 tree hook. So you want a good sized tail because you do want to be able to weave this in. I'm gonna lower the camera just a little bit here so I can see what's going on in the camera. Make sure my hands are staying where they need to be. Okay, start with our trusty slip knot. We are going to chain 5. Now everybody does it different. Some do 3, some do 4. I like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're just doing a simple chain of 5. You're joining it at the beginning to make a ring. You're joining it with a slip stitch. And then inside this space, we need to put 12 double crochets. So we do our first one by making a chain of 3. And then we're going to put 11 more in this circle. And see how that color is already starting to come in. I love the Christmas variegated colors. I just think they are so pretty. I have some in the size 10 thread to make Christmas ornaments or even a doily. So we've done 5, 6. Just keep that tail right there so you can sew over it or crochet over it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now at this point, I'm going to take this tail and I want to close up that circle as much as I can. So I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. Now I was able to close it almost all the way. A lot of people use the magic circle. I'm not especially fond of the magic circle. I hate fooling with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that tail right there. I'm going to join with the slip stitch. And notice I've caught that tail right there because I'm going to try to weave it in as much as I can. Now I'm going to do a chain of 3, which starts as my first double crochet. And let me get some knots worked out here. Now when we get back to the beginning round, a lot of people have different little tricks and all that, and that's wonderful. I just pull mine super tight each time I come around and join with the slip stitch. And that makes a seam, but it's a beautiful straight seam, and you don't mind seeing that seam. Okay, so we need 24 double crochets, counting this one. This counts as our first. So in each stitch, each of the 12 stitches that we just made, we're going to put 2 double crochets in there. I'm just going to pull that tight again. So back in this same space, we're going to put another double crochet. Then we're going to move on over here to this stitch right here. Now I'm going to move the tail now. I'm going to forget about it until the end. Right here. I was going to try to sew over it, but it's more important that y'all see the stitches. So we do 2 stitches. 3, 4, and I'm counting my total stitches so I don't have to go back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next stitch, and you're going to have to kind of pull your stitches just a little bit, and especially in variegated yarns, it's a little bit harder to see sometimes. So you're going to put 2 more double crochet in that stitch. You're going to go to the next one and put 2 double crochet in that stitch. And this is a very thick yarn, so it's going to make a nice warm Christmas hat. This one we put 2. The next one we put 2. I believe I ordered this from Amazon. I tried a couple of other places. I know I tried Walmart, and I don't know what it is in these search engines. You will be so specific what you want, and that's with any of them. And when you type it in, they'll bring around 500 what ifs. You know, what if you want this? And I appreciate that sometimes, but sometimes I just want what I want when I want it. Are we not all like that? Okay, just make sure you get every stitch. And right now we're doing double crochets. You can do half double crochets if you want to. It's going to shorten your rows very little. It's not going to make a big significance. Now this is for a woman. We're going to do a woman's hat. If you want to do it for a man, when you get to row 5, you will continue on, and you will do you'll do another increase on row number 6. And we've got one last space here, one last chain that we put, or one last stitch that we put 2 double crochet. Now I'm going to go back and count just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So I'm going to go right to the top, and I'm going to count 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, because we want to get right at the top of that first double crochet. Now I'm going to show you right here what I do at the beginning of each stitch. I pull that as tightly as I can hold it, and I chain 1 real tight, and then I chain 2 more to make that first double crochet. Now, like I said, you will see a seam, but it's going to be a pretty seam. It's not a jaggedy seam. Okay, in this row, we are going to put 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. Let me see here where I put. Okay, Actually, my 2 double crochet will go in that one. I sort of crossed over my stitch right there. You see what I done? So I'm going to go back and correct that right now, or that will throw me off in the end. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I went up just a little further than what I was supposed to. So sometimes you'll do that. What you do is you just go back and you try to pull right in there and get that stitch in there as good as you can. Okay, now I have my next stitch available. I knew that didn't look right, and I thought at the end it's going to throw off our count, and I'm going to have to add 2 stitches in there somewhere. So we've done 1 stitch in the first one. We do 2 stitches in this one, and this is going to be our repeat for row 3. So we done one, our first row was 12, our second row was 24. Now we're doing another increase. At the end of this row, you want 36 stitches. So 1 in the first one, 2 in the second one, 1, and then 2. So just remember, when you say 2, do 2 stitches. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. So this is the repeat all the way around row 3. I just love how this changes colors. And you will already see your hat starting to kind of curl up. That's okay. That's okay. It's supposed to start taking form. Make sure that's, yeah. Sometimes I get busy talking or thinking, and I don't remember what stitch. And probably I'm going to get you to row 6, and then I'm going to let you finish, because everybody's length and circumference, or length, will be different. And by that I mean, when you finish your hat, you will hold your hat over and you will fold it. This is the crown. So you're going to measure from this all the way down to the end of your rows. You're going to want about 7, 7.5, maybe 8 inches. It's according to how long in the back you want your hat to hang, and how far down over your ears you want it to come. I made me wanting to see, I got busy talking and I added another stitch, which would be okay. I would just have to remember my next stitch to only put 1. But I like to kind of keep it uniform, so if I have a problem, I can go back and kind of tell where I've messed up. Okay, we got 2 stitches left, and that's what we wanted. So we go 1, and then 2. Now this yarn is soft, but it's not as soft as some. but this is going to be a very warm hat. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We want to be at the top of that first one. If we go over to that next loop, we're going to be at the top of the second one where I messed up earlier. Okay, so pull that tight. Now I just do this to help me grip it. That's the only reason I tie that around. Now see already your seam, how straight, and that's what you want. Okay, so we've done our first one. This row is going to be 1, 1, and then your increase 2. So you're going 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, and then you're going to go 2 in the next one. I've already got a tangle trying to make a knot. A lot of times that happens. You want to pull out enough to have where you're not constantly fighting, but then when you do, you have a mess sometimes. So what I was saying is when you get to row 5, if it's for a man beanie, I will try to think to tell you how to start your next row in your repeat, because you will increase at least 1 more row for a man. You need to measure his circumference around the top of his head, like around his forehead, around back to the front of the forehead. Okay, so we did 1, 1, 2. 1, 1 in the next, and then 2 in that one. So we're adding 12 stitches each row. Now, a little hint. If you wanted to make a Christmas tree ball, a Christmas tree ornament, you could stop here and then tie you a little string here, and you would have a Christmas bauble to hang on your tree. Or you might want to shorten that by 2 stitches. Okay, so let's get back to our hat. 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. This is your repeat for row 4. 1, 1, 2, 2. Remember, when you say 2, you do 2 stitches. 1, 1, 2, 2. Oh, my thoughts got ahead of me. And you kind of want to keep them tight. You don't want your stitches going all over the place, but they don't have to be so tight. 1, 1, 2, 2. 2, 2. Now, if for some reason when you do your count, it is important to count every row, and I've not done that. I did the first couple of rows and then I quit counting the total stitches. Say you get to the end of this one, you're supposed to have 12, 24, 36, and on this one you're supposed to have 48. I don't remember what I told you a minute ago, but at the end of this row you will have 48. You're only increasing by 12 stitches this row and row 5. If you got to the end of this and you only had 42 stitches or 44 stitches, you could ravel back so many stitches and then count and then add stitches. This one is not, you're not concerned with the pattern. Now some hats you will have to count because every row would have to be on perfect count to make a pattern. And that's like with doilies and a lot of different things. But fortunately for this hat, we don't have that problem. So if you get to the end of the row and you think, oh no, I'm short 4 stitches or whatever, backtrack a few stitches and then add an extra stitch until you get that count. I hope that made sense. So we've done our 1, 1, then 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, and 2. And that's good because we wanted our last stitch to be our increase stitch. So I'm going to pull that just a little tight. I'm going to count these stitches. It's very important. 1, 2, 3, that I don't get at the top of that next stitch. Try to watch that because you've seen how easy it is to do that. Pull that tight. 1, 2, 3. Now this is row 5. So we're going to do another increase because we want to add 12 more stitches for a woman's hat. So we go 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. Our first 3 stitches will be single double crochets. Let me go back. Each of our, we've got 3 stitches, 3 double crochets, and they go individually in 3 separate double crochets. Does that make sense? We go 1, 1, 1, and then we go 2. I can't find my words this morning. Oh, I can't even blame that on it being a Monday. I've been like this about 3 weeks. Okay, so you got 1 single double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. So you're increasing by 12 stitches. This is your increase stitch. So you got 1, 1, 1 for a total of 3, and then you have a double crochet. So you got 5 stitches in each, we'll say each group. Let's put it that way. So you go 1, 1, 1 and 2, 2. I just love this Christmassy variegated colors. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. You may have seen little Sophie. She woke up from her little nap and she thought she wanted up in her nanny's couch here. Pulling me a little yarn. Okay, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. So do that all the way around. Sophie likes to come and lay by her nanny while she's crocheting or doing anything. But I didn't leave her much room. She wants to be between me and the couch arm. Now, for some reason, this stitch is a little loblollied. So we've got a stitch right here. I've got to put 1 double crochet in. I was just trying to figure out what I had done there on that one. Not quite sure. I bet I split a stitch, the thread. And that happens sometimes. Now at the end of this row, this is row 5. I'll see if it'll show up good enough. This is our first round, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. At the end of this round, you should have 60 stitches for a woman's hat or a child's hat. Well, when I say a child, a teenager's hat. A teenager and a woman's size hat. Now, if you were going to do a man, instead of going 1, 1, 1, and then your 2, you would do a total of 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2. And you would have a total of 72 stitches at the end of your round. So where we're going 1, 1, 1 for a total of 3, and then our double, you would go 1, 1, 1, 1 for a total of 4, and then do your double. Does that make sense? And then you would need to measure it at the end of that round to make sure that it's going to fit him. And if it fits him, then you won't have to increase another row. If you have to go on and increase again, you're going to want to go 5 and then 2. Because every row you're increasing by 12 stitches. So you're adding one more to your group. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then a double. Row 6 would be 4, and then a double. And then row 7 would, you know, so on and so on. But you shouldn't have to go past row 6 on an increase for a man. So we're on row 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're going to stop our increasing on this row. So we're going to finish this row, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. I hope that's been plain enough for you. It was so confusing at first when I was watching all these tutorials on how to do this, the increasing, but it's really easy. Once you've done this several times, it will become your second nature, your second thought to do that. 1, 1, 1, and then 2. And this is fine. 1, 1, 1, 2. You see, we want to end with our increase stitch, and that's worked out perfect. So this row, and we'll go back and count them, we should have 60 stitches in this row. And then 2. It's very important that you count, especially when you're doing these, and I didn't on some of them, so forgive me, but it's very important because you want the same amount of stitches. It's not going to throw your pattern off, but it might throw the size of your head, and your hat will take a different shape. So let's count our stitches. We should have 60 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. I'm short 2 stitches. So somewhere back through here, I have shorted myself 2 stitches. So let's start at the beginning. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, right here I was supposed to have had another stitch. So I'm going to go back. See, I done my 2 stitches here, 1, 1, 1, and then 2 in this one. So let's count them again, because we need that extra room in the hat. So let's see, I may have made a mistake somewhere else. 1, 2, 3. We're still short 1. So I'm going to go back right here and add a stitch to this one. And if this were a pattern, I would just want to start the row over. So we know we need 2 stitches here, and then our 1, and then our 2. So I'll have to be more careful, because like I said, if it was a pattern that you were following, you would have to go back and ravel the whole row and start all over. But I'm not going to do that one. I'm just going to add another stitch in there that I needed. Okay, so we need 1, 2, 3. We need to go into this one. So that's why it's very important to count each row as you finish, because you may end on your increase, but your stitch number, your stitch count might be off, like mine was. Okay, so now we are going to stop our increases. So every row from here on out will have 60 stitches if we go in every stitch around. Normally and typically you're going to stop on row 18, and then you're going to do a single crochet, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Pretend like we're at the end of row 16. So row 17, I wouldn't have done the 3. I would have done 1. Then I would have come over here to my next stitch, pulled up that stitch, come under and pull through, and you've got 2 loops. And then I would go like that, and that's a single crochet. And I would single crochet a nice little border all the way around. You've got 1 loop. So you go in that next stitch, pull your yarn through, pull it up, you've got 2 loops, and you pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. Yarn through, pull up the loop, pull through both. So that's the way you could do your border at the end. That gives it a beautiful texture. And say I done a hat last night. It was black, and she wanted it predominantly black with a little gray. So I done black at the top all the way down so many rows, and then I done 2 rows of gray. Then I went ahead and I finished my length, and then at the very bottom I pulled the black thread and the gray thread together and made it variegated. And I done my border around through there like that. And it turned out so cute. It's so stinking cute. But now I've got to row 6 with you. Now if you're doing this for a man, I'm going to go ahead and show you what row 6 would look like. If you're doing a man's, row 6 will have 12 more stitches. So you got 12, 24, 36, 48, and then 60. So you'll need 12 more stitches on row 6 to make it 70. So where we done 1, 1, 1, 2, we do 1, 1, 1, 1, total of 4 times, and then 2. So do you see the math? So on row 5, we done 1, 1, 1 for 3 times, and then we done our increase stitch. On row 6, if this were a man's hat, you would do it for a total of 4 stitches, and then your 5th stitch would be an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your increase stitch. Where you put the 2 is your increase stitches. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to stop on row 5 as my increase stitches. But you can see it starts to turn up. This is the inside of your hat, so when you get finished, you'll just weave in those tails. I'm going to show you how to weave in the tail. I'll do this one, and then that way you'll know at your end. A variegated color or a single color is so easy to weave in because you know you've got your beginning tail, which is this one, and then your ending one when you finish off your border. But when you do a change of colors every so many rows, it is a true headache if you hate weaving in tails, and I hate weaving in tails. So you have to kind of take that in consideration. I've been getting a lot of beanie orders lately that they want 2, 3, 4 colors in it, and it's pretty, but your seam is a little jagged because you've got that color change. And I know you think it wouldn't be, but it is just a little bit. And that's where you have to really watch when you do color changes. So I'm just going in here in these stitches, and I'm just going to come back around, and I'm pushing through. I like this needle. It's a Boyd, it's a plastic needle, but I want to find me one that's a little sharper so that I can go in there, and what you want to do is you want to split one of the stitch yarns and then pull that through, and then you're going to go back through again. So since my tail is too short at this point to really bend that needle around, I'm going to go ahead and go back. Now this is the stitches that I just come out of, so I'm going to skip that white one right there, and I'm going to go under that green one, and I'm just going to keep pushing and it doesn't matter, you want to split. So I'm going to split this green one right here again, and I'm going to, if I can get my needle in there, okay. You see what I've done? I've got the needle in there, but I don't have it thread. So what I do then is I thread that needle, and then I push it through. Make sure you pull that out. And I have to fight with these stitches a little bit with this. There we go. Now that's all I'm going to sew him in, because he was around and around here, and then he come up through another row, and then he's done for. So what you want to do, you do want to pull this one just a hair, because you want him to pop right back in there. Now see, you don't see him. He's done for. He's sayonara. Now see your seam? How pretty. But if you were changing colors, you would have a little jagged edge. It would be more predominant. So that's when you have to do all those extra stitches that you see on YouTube. And they normally do that by chaining one when they slip stitch here. I'll go back and show you. If you're changing colors, this really helps. So you've joined with your slip stitch, and you're just going to chain one right here. Pull that tight, chain 1. That does not count as anything. Then you're going to do a double crochet right back in that same stitch, or in the next stitch, as our case is. You see what I done? I done it wrong. I knew I would, because some reason that one little stitch throws me off. I need to go back in this same stitch and put a double crochet. I would have been off at the very beginning. Now it looks like I've got 2 double crochets in there, but I don't. And that's just that extra stitch, single crochet that we done in there. So now every stitch gets a double crochet. But then you have to remember, when you come back to join with the slip stitch, you have to cross over that one and go into that one, or your stitch count, you'll be increasing and want to increase. So there's where it kind of throws into a different ball game. I'm not especially fond of that, because I hate counting stitches like that. When I do doilies, I have to. I mean, you have to have every stitch in its proper place, or it throws off your pattern. So I'm going to leave you to this. I'm on row 6, so every stitch will get 1 double crochet, unless you're doing it for a man, and then you're going to want to count your stitches 1, 1, 1, 1 4 times, and then your increase in the 5th stitch. So your 4 stitches will be normal, and then your 5th stitch would have 2 in it. So I hope you will enjoy making these. I love making the beanies and the hats. This will be my Christmas hat. And I hope you will get you some variegated yarn. Like I said, I think I ordered this from Amazon. And again, it is the Red Heart Super Saver. 5 ounces, 141 grams, 236 yards. And it is 100% acrylic, and it is the colorway Mistletoe. Medium 4. It tells you its hook size, but those numbers are so tiny, and I don't have my reading glasses on. So you can machine wash and dry it. I always tell everybody do cold settings. Every beanie I pack up and send out the door, I put a little tag. I have little yard sale tags that I purchased through Walmart online. I take one of these and I attach it either to the beanie itself or to the bag. And I put "Thank You, Crochet by Lulu." And then on the other side, "Please wash me and dry me in cold settings," or "Please wash and dry me, cold settings." Here's the little bags. I get them, I think there's 10 for $4 something from the Walmart online. And that's how I package my beanies up. And then I usually write a thank you note on the front and then write their name on it so that I know who it's for. Let me show you the beanie I finished up this morning. Sorry, I have everything right in my way. This is the beanie I was talking about. I done it predominantly. I'm going to move you up just a little bit here. It's predominantly black, and I done the 2 rows of gray. Then I done the double crochet, front post double crochet, double crochet, front post double crochet. And then at the very end, I done some of it's fuzzing. I added the black with the gray and made it variegated all the way around. And that's just single crochet until I get back around. Now, here's the seam. See how pretty the seam is? Even through the part where I change colors. It's pretty. But that's because I've really taken care in pulling that stitch tight, tight, tight. But I thought it turned out really cute. Now, a hint, your thicker yarns, your bulkier yarns, is going to make your hat fit just a little bit different. So it may be just a hair on the loose side. If it is, don't panic, because you can wash it in warm water and then dry it on warm. But this goes out the door today. So I just wanted to show you that one on that particular colorway. I hope everybody's enjoyed this tutorial. I know that it's not a Christmas ornament, and we will get into doing our Christmas ornaments. I've got some more beanie orders that I'm so excited about. I've got that one finished, and then I've got one more to finish for today, and I'm hoping to have some more by the end of the week. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, predominantly you want to go to row 16. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're starting our 6th row. We'll have 60 stitches all the way around every row until we get to the bottom. Row 16, you know, row 15 measure, and then do your extra rows. And then come around with your single crochet all the way around. And that really gives it that little extra pop and gives you, the end of your hat, more definition. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you'll make some. Go back and slow it down or pause it. What I do is I take a notepad and a pencil or an ink pen, and whenever I'm watching anybody that I know that I won't remember, and sometimes, and I file it in my playlist, but sometimes my playlist has so many that I've saved so that I can go back. You'll see the Bostons. They want to be right up in Nanny's lap. They got to check Nanny out this morning and see what she's doing. They're sleepy and they're ready for their nappers.